Good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
Can everybody hear me so far? Just a little bit. I'm going to try to walk back and forth. We're filming today, so I'm going to try to stay in the camera range shot, but I want to make sure that everyone hears me. Does everyone have a book?
Yes.
Yes? Everybody has? You want one? Thank you. So I just want to reiterate again that if you're just here and you have specific questions, you kind of already got your hands wrapped around the program. There are two of my coworkers out there. They're sitting at the table right outside the room. If you needed help filling out the information and you have all of your forms, because there are some things that we just can't fill out for you. You need the information. So if you just need help with that, you're more than welcome to go out. Tyler and Yas are out there. I'm not going to say his whole name because I think I'm going to mess it up. We call them Yas. So they're out there to assist you, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm going to get started. Does anybody have any questions before we get started? Ma'am? About here, but she's looking here. This form is for applicants who did not receive a 2016 senior freeze. They're talking about the money. So if you did not receive the money, this is the book that you fill out. If you did, this is the PTR 1. If you received the check, then you should have a PTR 2. So the PTR 2 is the one that has your base year pre-printed. Sometimes it's pre-printed like a computer, but if you called our customer service center, then you might see it handwritten in. That's because you've been in the program and we already have what we call your base year. So if you receive the check, the PTR 2 is the one you should fill out. If not, and you're a first-time filer, you have the PTR 1 that we passed out today. Any other questions?
Will you be covering where we go to access the tax laws?
No. No. So it's where you pay your property tax. So I know some people pay it here, right at the city hall, or I don't know, in other towns, there's municipal buildings or something like that. So where you pay your property taxes is where you go to verify the property taxes paid.
We have to take them to the office and have them.
Absolutely. So I was going to give you an example. I went with my mom because she was having problems with it. And I went with her to our local city hall. And they just typed it in real fast. She gave me the name. It doesn't take long because they're familiar with these. They're familiar with the program. And they just pull it up and they put the information in and they stamp it. So make sure you get it stamped. Because stamp is saying, I certify that, Monisha paid this amount in property tax.
You have a question?
Ma'am? Yes. So the PTR 2 has to be sent to you. So the PTR 2 is not something that you can access online. The PTR 1 is the only one that you can access online. The PTR 2 has to be sent to you for our division. I'm sorry. Yes. So she asked if she was rejected last year, if she wasn't eligible for some reason, should she fill out the PTR 1? Yes, that is correct. see your homestead benefit application? The green one, so I can just show you. So you ladies and gentlemen are aware that there are two different programs, but you can be eligible for both of them. So, don't get discouraged if you see that there's another property tax relief program. You may be eligible for both of them. So if you are, I want you to take advantage of it. Today, we're just talking about the senior freeze, the blue book, because I used to work in the call center, and that's what people would call it, say the blue book. So we're going to be talking about the blue book today. But this is the homestead benefit, right? The green one. This goes as a credit. So they may very well have records here, if you pay your property taxes here, of the homestead benefit. But I doubt that they'll have record of your property tax reimbursement. Yes, ma'am.
Just for information, people here, my experience has been that you leave your sheet here at the office and they will fill it out and call you if that's finished.
Okay.
Not usually done on this spot.
Okay, so she was saying her experience here at this building, that you leave your verification form here, and then when they're done filling it out, they'll give you a call so you can come back and pick it up. Some places do it on the spot, but I guess depending on what they're doing, how busy they are, they might just say you have to leave it and come back and get it. So just make sure when you're getting your property taxes verified that you understand what you have to do with your verification form, and try not to forget it. You don't want to miss the deadline, because we're coming up on the deadline here. The deadline for this is October the 31st, so I suggest that if you have any questions, you make sure you talk to Yas and Tyler before we leave, and you're absolutely welcome to call us once we leave if you have any questions, but try not to miss the deadline. Speaking of the deadline, some of you ladies and gentlemen probably know that we've changed the deadline. I think before it was June, and when I worked in a call center, people would call in June and they would be frantic because they don't have all of their information, and then we would extend it anyway to October. So I think somebody thought about it and said, hey, let's just have it, the deadline for October anyway. Another change is that this used to be called the property tax reimbursement first. If you look at the application, then senior freeze used to be in quotes. Well, now it's just called the senior freeze because I think the community knew it as the senior freeze or the blue book. So maybe one year they'll change it to the blue book, who knows? But for right now, we're just going to go with this. So I'm going to get started. Ma'am, one more question.
Just have a question about when you have to have the taxes paid. Online it says by June 1st, which means that you can pay the quarterly, right? And have to all pay by June 1st of every year.
They do give you some kind of leeway until, I'm going to say maybe December. Let me double check. Okay. All right, so I'm going to get started. My coworker, Ms. Gail, is going to do the PowerPoint for me because I don't have a clicker, and I think if I did have a clicker, I wouldn't use it anyway because sometimes it gets stuck. All right. So these are the things that we're going to talk about. Please let me know if my voice kind of goes down or something like that and you can't hear me. Just give me a sign, say up or something. We're going to talk about what is the senior freeze, the eligibility guidelines. We're going to talk about the income, the proof of taxes paid, and the proof of age and disability. So what is the senior freeze? The senior freeze reimburses seniors and disabled people for property tax increases. So, in order to get the reimbursement, the property taxes have to go up. If they go down, there's nothing to reimburse you. I think at one point, I know at least for my mom, it was a hard concept for her to understand. And I thought it should be an easy concept. But I did have to take my time to explain to her she was not eligible for the property tax reimbursement. She was happy that her property taxes were going down, but she wasn't eligible for the reimbursement. This is how the senior freeze is calculated. I know it's hard to see, but it says property taxes due and paid for the current year minus the property taxes paid for the base year. So are we all familiar with what the base year is? The base year is the year that you first become eligible for the program. So they're going to take that base year, right? Whatever the property taxes were for that year, and they're going to subtract it from the current year's taxes. For most of us, our taxes go up every year. So we're going to keep that base year, and we're going to subtract it from our current year's taxes. That gives us the amount of the reimbursement. So for any time your taxes go below the base year, there is nothing to reimburse. It has to go up.
And it never goes down.
Never
30
goes
years,
down.
it's never gone down.
Never gone down.
No.
My property taxes have gone up. Yes, ma'am.
I believe if there is no rebate, if you have gotten a rebate in the past, I think you are still supposed to, submit information for that year, otherwise you have to start over again.
If at any time you aren't eligible because of your own doing, for whatever that is, your property taxes have changed or something like that, not because of the state changing the income or something like that, you're not eligible. You should not file. Now, what we were told when I was in the call center was that we can't deny people the right to file because some people still want to file because they say, I need to get this into the state of New Jersey. We'll never tell you no, but you don't have to. You don't have to go through all the trouble because the only thing that we're going to do is send you a denial notice. So it's up to you if you still want to file. But if you're not eligible, doesn't matter, and you will have to start over with the PTR 1. So let's talk about the eligibility guidelines. You have to be age 65 or older or receiving Social Security disability by the end of the year, the last day of the year. So for now, this filing for 2017, it was December 31st, 2016. Lived in New Jersey for 10 years. This is consecutively, not like move out, come back, move out, come back. Owned and lived in your home for 3 years. Property taxes paid. Homeowners by June 31st of the following year. Mobile home owners by December 31st. The income limits for 2016, and it doesn't matter if you're single or married. It's $87,007, and for 2017, same thing, single or married, $87,268. Let's keep in mind that this is all subject to change due to the budget. And I think some of you ladies and gentlemen know that it's been notoriously dropping to $70,000. We don't know what's going to happen next year. So we got a new governor and we'll just see what happens. And we don't know, like the state of New Jersey Division of Taxation where I work, we don't have like a heads up really. Sometimes we find out from you ladies and gentlemen when you call in the call center because some of you get the information before we get it. I remember being on the phone getting the information from a taxpayer and I just put the taxpayer on hold and told everybody in the office like this is what's happening. It happens sometimes, yes?
When you say income, what categories would that include? Say if you sell a bond, you have many years, does that count as income?
So when we talk about income, let's look on let's open up to the middle of the book. So right where the staples are. You just go to the middle of the book. So right where the staples are, these are all your income categories. Does everybody see that? Right in the middle of the book, these are all your income categories. It's written very small up here. Income categories. So this tells you what income should be reported. So you look at it and you say, let's look at A. It says Social Security benefits, including Medicare Part B premiums, paid to on behalf of applicant. Enter total amount from box 5 of your SSA 1099, or I think this is a railroad benefits 1099. But for some of them, they can't put the full explanation about how you should report the income. So within the book, it actually starts on page 8. It breaks it down even further, the line items and how it should be reported. So say for instance you go to A and you still don't understand how to report it. If you look on page 8, in the second column, it says line A. It tells you how to report it. If you look, it says line B. It tells you how to report it. So it breaks it down even more for you so you can understand where you get the amounts from to report. Does everybody see that? So now we're going to talk about the impact of the state budget, which most of the property tax relief programs, it's always contingent upon the budget. If the budget doesn't call for it, unfortunately, they change the income. I don't know if you ladies and gentlemen remember in 2012, they stopped the homestead benefit. So that's why we're kind of behind with the homestead benefit. We're not up to date with it. It's because they stopped it due to the impact of the state budget. Thankfully, they restarted it back up, but who knows? I mean, property tax relief programs can stop altogether. I would hate to see that because this is something that I absolutely enjoy doing, but we'll just keep our eyes out. In 2016, the income limit, we're talking about the changes. So if your income went over $87,007, you're not qualified. So I know people have a lot of questions about that. Because this 2017 form talks about 2 years. So we need 2 years of taxes to compare in order to get the reimbursement. So that's why we take the year before and the current year that we're in, because we need the 2 years. If you're not eligible for 1 year, unfortunately, you're not eligible for the program. So did I explain that very well? If not, we can look at the book. We can go back to the middle of the book where the income categories are. If you look, it's income categories for 2016 and 2017. But at the bottom, it tells you, it says, what is your total 2016 income on line 7, $87,007 or less. If you check yes, you can keep on going. If you check no, it says you are not eligible for the program. Do not file the application. Once again, we cannot deny you the right to file, but just know that you aren't eligible and you'll be waiting to get a denial notice in the mail. So keep in mind, if you're not eligible for 1 year, you're totally out of the program. And so then the following year, you will be filling out another PTR1. Income that is between $70,000, because we already know it was dropped to $70,000, and $87,007. You don't get a reimbursement check, but what they say is, hey, you can still be in the program and you can keep your base year. So it's kind of like you're not getting penalized because the budget doesn't call for it, but unfortunately you don't get the reimbursement check. And you can still, the next year, you can file the 2017 PTR2 application because you've kept your base year. You don't understand the base year? The base year is the amount of property taxes for the year that you first became eligible for the program. So for example, if I filed the application, let's say in 2010, and that's when I became eligible, and my property taxes were $1,000. And now my property taxes are $5,000. Well, they're just going to deduct the $1,000 from the $5,000 and I'll get a $4,000 reimbursement. I dream a lot, but. Reportable income. So these are the categories. These are the categories that if you have to file the NJ 1040, your state tax return, these aren't taxable on there. Right? Social Security isn't taxable for the state of New Jersey when we file our income tax return, but we want to know it for this program. Unemployment benefits go nowhere on the NJ 1040, but guess what? They want to know for these purposes. Military pension and also New Jersey lottery money. So this is the reportable income, and of course there are many more there. Non-reportable. So we're talking about restitution payments, Agent Orange payments, proceeds from a spouse's life insurance policy. Not reportable. This is a big question that they receive in the call center. It's not reportable. Your income tax returns. So when you file your income tax for federal, state, or any other jurisdiction, it's not reportable. Please do not report it, because then they're taking your money. They're taking it into consideration as income, and it's not considered income. Your rollovers from one financial institution to the next. So we're talking about your rollovers for your pension, your annuities, your IRAs, insurance contracts, other retirement benefits. Keep that in mind, ladies and gentlemen. It is not reportable. So please do not report it. Pension. Pension is another part of the program that kind of gets people a little bit confused. So I just want you to keep in mind that if you have to file a state tax return, the NJ 1040, and keep in mind, I keep saying NJ 1040 because a lot of people get confused. The 1040 is the federal return. The NJ 1040 is the state return. If you have to file that return, all you have to do for pension is look on line 19A of your NJ 1040, and your pension number is right there. If, however, for some reason you're under the filing threshold and you're not sure how, in the back of the book, as a courtesy, in the appendix, we have the forms that are basically straight from the NJ 1040 that shows you how to calculate so you'll know how to report your pension. It's in the back, it's Appendix A. We have the worksheet A, we have the worksheet B. There are the instructions. If you're familiar with the NJ 1040, then these appendix pages should look familiar to you. And this is going to help you with your pension calculations. It includes the tax-exempt retirement income, like the U.S. military, the disability, and the Roth IRA. Any questions? Am I going too fast? Should I slow down? No? Okay. Let's talk about the filing deadline and the check dates, which I always think is exciting when I see it. 2017 PTR application, we already know that the deadline is approaching, October the 31st of 2018. So let's say, for instance, you filled out your application before May 1st of 2018. You should have received your check already. It's July 15, 2018. If any time you file between May the 2nd and June the 1st, so you should have already received your check, September the 1st, 2018. So if you file between June 2nd and September the 1st, it's November the 1st. And if you file later than that, September the 2nd or October the 31st, it's going to come on or around December the 1st. So just keep that in mind. Don't have to remember it. I do believe it's in the book. If at any time, ladies and gentlemen, don't remember something or have questions, I want you to call our office so we can help you. I don't want anybody to feel like they're lost in filling these out. You can call me all day long and I'll help you. This is something that I really enjoy doing. So never feel like you're lost or you don't have help. Just give us a call. First time filers, form PTR. I'm sorry? Yes, I'm sorry.
So if we file now, is our basically going to be
60. It's 60.
What's your number?
609-633-6015. I'll give it again at the end of the presentation. I won't leave the name. I won't say call me and then not give you my number. So here it is, sir, the question. Establishes 2016 and 2017 eligibility, but it reserves the base year at the 2016 level. So that would be your base year if you file this application. If you receive the reimbursement, which is the check, then you have established your base year for 2016. It is the difference between the 2017 current taxes, right, and the 2016, your eligibility base year tax. That's what it does. Then it equals your reimbursement. Remember the little blocks that I showed you, like in the second slide? That's basically what this is saying. Proof of property taxes must be included with all applications. So let's talk about proof of property taxes. I don't know if it's on the next slide. Can you see myself? I may be getting ahead of myself, but I want to talk about the proof of property taxes paid. The easiest way for verification of proof of property taxes paid is the verification form that is in here. You take it to your local town hall, the city hall, you go, you may have to drop it off, come back and pick it up, but that's the easiest way. Sometimes people want to send in cancel checks. I know my bank, they don't do that anymore. Like, they're trying to get away from doing cancel checks. I guess maybe it's from all the fraud that's happening, but that is the easiest way, the form that is in the book. Okay. For the second year and later files, so now we're talking about, you've already been in the program, right? You filled out the PTR-1, you received your check, you established your base year, but now you're going to do the PTR-2. So if you get the reimbursement this year, the next time you file, this will say 2018 form PTR-2. And inside, you guys don't have this book, but inside your base year, the amount of property taxes will be pre-printed, and we send this to you automatically. Do you always get it? No. You may have to call and ask for it again, because who knows what happens sometimes, maybe the mail or something else. No, not online. She asked if she ever filled it out online. No, this has always been paper. The homestead benefit is the one that you can fill out online, or you can call it in. But this one remains paper. I don't know why, and I doubt if I ask, I'll get the answer anyway. So, but this comes pre-printed with your base year. It verifies your 2017 eligibility, and it's the difference between 2017 and the base year. So that would be the PTR-2. And provided that you remain eligible, provided that you keep getting the check, you will always fill out the PTR-2. If for any reason there's a break in your eligibility, you'll have to go back to the PTR-1. And just keep in mind that a proof of property taxes paid always has to be verified for the PTR-1 and the PTR-2. They both have the verification forms in there. Did it freeze?
Did
So this is how your base year can change. Your base year changes if your income exceeds the original limit. So let's look at the income category page that we were looking at. If you go over the printed amount, the printed income amount, that takes you out of the program because you're not eligible. Your base year is going to change because you can't stay in that year that you're not eligible. Right, so you got to move on to the year that you're eligible. So that's how your base year changes. If your property taxes go below the base year amount, you're not eligible if it goes below the base year amount. So that means that you've already established your base year. But like my mom, the property taxes went down. Not eligible. So your base year changes. You don't keep that base year in the year that you're not eligible. You gotta have a base year in the year that you're eligible.
And then, you do the PTR1 form again.
That is correct. That is correct. The only way you can continue to do the PTR2 when you're kind of not eligible is because of the budget.
Yes.
Because of the budget. But if it's something that's not pertaining to the budget, then you will have to start over. Yes, ma'am?
How often does you have to fill out this paper?
Once a year.
Every year?
Every year. Yeah, it's every year. Please don't forget. It's every year. I don't know, things don't set your calendar, write it on your calendar, but don't forget to file every year because you can lose your base year or you have to do a lot of work to get back up to your base year. Another way your base year can change is certain assessment changes. They do, I don't know, countywide assessment, they come through and people's taxes go up, some people's taxes go down. It can affect your base year. You could possibly, not be eligible for the program. Something you can't do anything about, but that's one of the reasons that can change your base year. And if you move, before it used to be, you had to be in your new home for 3 years, which never made sense to me. And this happened even before I started working for the state, and I don't think they would have changed it if I would have said anything. But it's weird because why do I have to stay in my home for 3 years when you only need 2 years to compare? So now you just need 2 years. Makes sense. You only need 2 years to compare to get the base year. So now it's just 2 years, but this changes your base year because it changes your property taxes. Let's think about it. I live here, my property taxes are set at this amount. I move here, well, I don't take these property taxes over to the new home. So the base year is going to change. They're going to look at the new home and use those property taxes for that property. Any questions?
Once you establish the PTR2 every year,
Right.
it's mailed out, once you get the PTR1.
We mail it out to you. Like I said, sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't. But you just have to call and we'll get you one out. Yeah.
It's all reprinted.
Pre-printed, yes. The base year comes pre-printed. Yes.
So just in case you're not eligible, where would you get this from? Can you call and get a PTR1 form?
You can call and get a PTR1. The PTR1s are available online. They're available online, but you can't type into them. You have to print them out. Right. But you can call us. You can call us, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, before they used to have them at the libraries and stuff, they don't do that anymore. I don't know what happened, but they don't do that anymore. So you will have to give us a call. And we don't mind. We can just shoot it on out to you. Yep. Reevaluations and reassessments. So the reevaluations can increase or decrease your property taxes, and then you will have to use the reevaluated amount. The same as added assessment. So let's think about when we want to add maybe a deck to our home. Well, we've increased the value of our home. Property taxes will change. So it results in an adjusted base year. Here, keep in mind that this added assessment includes the base year and the current year. You may wind up, depending on when you do these assessments, you may wind up owing us money. Or we may owe you money. It all depends, it's gonna change the value of your home, which changes the property taxes. So just keep that in mind as well.
Can you repeat that part about if your taxes went out?
So if your taxes go up, you may end up owing us money, because if we've already issued out the money and your taxes go up, you may owe us money, or we may owe you money, depending on just how the calculations fall. So just keep in mind about adding expenses, even when the city goes around certain municipalities, they come around, they do assessments. Some of the taxes go up, some go down, changes the base year for certain people. So certain people who probably weren't eligible, may now become eligible. People who were eligible, they now come out of the program because of the assessment.
If it's for you with your spouse, you're not eligible to age this year or income for 2016 or 2017. When would you be eligible by 2020?
You would have to look at all the criteria. So you would have to make a conscious decision or keep it in your mind, like, okay, property tax reimbursement is probably going out, let me see if I can meet all the criteria. Because I couldn't tell you when, if it's for disability, you would have to get your award letter from the Social Security Disability Administration to see. If it's due to age, you would just have to wait till you, unfortunately, get older.
So you're thinking based on your W-2 or your taxes?
It is actually federal. So it's federal.
Federal taxes.
Yeah, if you look in the book, it's based on federal. Yes.
I must have a question regarding the idea about the house. When you pay on the house, you know, the value of the house.
And it raises the value of your home?
It does, right?
Yes.
And then so the tax will have to be 25 for the
Let's
house.
think about this. So because it can get iffy. We're talking about repairs to a home, or we're talking about what we call as a division capital improvement. So let's say, for instance, we're just patching up something, maybe, I don't know, ceiling tile fell. You replace it, that doesn't raise the value of your home, right? But let's talk about putting a deck on, like that's some serious business, right? That's gonna raise your property taxes, because now this house is looking better, That's gonna change your property taxes, especially if you do it right, and you're supposed to. You're supposed to let, your town know that you're gonna be doing all this banging and building and all this stuff. Listen, they wanna know. They do, they don't play, they wanna see what's going on. So the appeal assessment. So let's say you're not happy with your taxes. And
It's all good, it's all good. Inside joke.
Am I telling the truth?
I can't say anything.
And so let's think about when we're not happy with our taxes, and we say, hey, wait a second. Let me go down there and tell them something's not right. I want them to look at my property and reassess it. Be careful. Be very careful. Because if they do, it could increase your property taxes. Of course, it could reduce it. You could be right. You could say, hey, listen, it's too much property taxes for this, But just be careful, because they can say, you know what, I'm glad you called this out. We're going to raise them on up.
But they send someone every so often, how many years, but they send someone anyway to measure the whole, everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't know you said they send someone.
Yes.
Where I live, they don't. But yeah, but if this happens, you have to notify the division of the property tax changes, which, like I said, you could wind up owing us money, or we could owe you money. You can file an amended property tax reimbursement because of the appeal assessment. So, like I keep saying, greater reimbursement or less reimbursement. This is where the tax collector, so if you come here to the city hall, this is where the tax collector checks a box. Let's go to the middle of the book again, to the application. And beyond that page, so I want you to get there first, but we're going to go beyond that. So the next page from the application is the verification form. Do you see this black and white form, the next page after the application? This is that verification form we keep talking about. This is where the tax collector is going to stamp, put their signature, title, and everything. This is where they put the property taxes. But if you look in these columns up here, where you see part 2, do you see part 2, everybody? Look right there. It says 2016 property taxes. Check box if property had a tax appeal for 2016. See, where you pay your taxes, they know if you appealed it, right? Because that's where you go to get the appeal. Check box if property had an added assessment for 2016. This is where it is. This is where they're going to check it for you. So keep in mind, and it's for both years, you know. If you've had it for both years, because I've seen it, if you just had it for 1 year, but this is where you note it. I put a little cute arrow up there. This form here that we're going to talk about, this form PTR1C. This form is if the applicant relocates. So you have a right to move. You don't have to stay in your home forever. But it's only for applicants who have already been in the program. Because see, if you're first time filing, we're going to do the PTR1, right? But if you've already been in the program, this is the form, the PTR1C. You relocate to another New Jersey resident. Another New Jersey resident. This is for people who have already been in the program. It establishes your eligibility after 2 years. So remember me talking about before they said it had to be 3 years, which didn't make sense. This is that situation. We kind of automatically send it out if you have properly updated your address with it. But if not, then you're going to have to give us a call so we can get that information out to you. But you will fill out this form along with a PTR1. So just keep in mind, if you're thinking about moving, you have to let us know. We can get this form out to you, but when you file, you'll file with the PTR1. Any questions?
So you'll skip a year of getting a check.
Yeah. But they don't knock you out like for the 3 years you're waiting. So the proof of property taxes paid, we've already seen that form. So if you need to see it again, just open up your book to where the staples are, flip a page over. For homeowners, first-time filers, the form is called a PTR1A for homeowners. It's a PTR1B for mobile homeowners. Second year filers, the verification form is a PTR2A for homeowners, and it's a PTR2B for mobile homeowners. So just keep that in mind. And it says it at the top. It's nothing that you need to remember or know off of it. So you can provide us with canceled checks, copies of your 1098 form. That's the form that you get from your mortgage company. You can provide us with that. You can give us copies of your final tax bill, but I'm telling you, it's difficult sometimes for us to read. I know before there was some kind of confusion, and even especially in our office. You guys know that green card that you get?
Yeah.
Don't use it. Don't use it, because sometimes it's not as accurate as the tax bill itself. Just keep that in mind. Sometimes it is. Sometimes it's the same, but we've seen discrepancies.
I didn't hear what you're referring to.
The green card. The property taxes that come on the green card, we've seen a lot of discrepancies on the card as it relates to the property tax bill. Because we can access, at our division, we can access the property taxes if we really need to verify if there's some kind of discrepancy on your account. It's not something that we do all the time, but if we're trying to satisfy the account for you, if you've been going back and forth with us, we can look at your property taxes. If you send us that green form and it's different, So I don't want you guys to get into the habit of using the green card. Try to use your final property tax bill, but I'm gonna tell you that this way is not easy. These ways, they're not easy. The verification form is the easiest way to go. If you can, you know, some seniors and disabled people can't get around to get to the city hall, so they have to send in what they have, and it's okay. I'm just letting you, ladies and gentlemen, know what's the easiest way for us to get the verification for your property taxes. And this is the form that I'm talking about. Like I said, it's an easy form. You can take it to where you pay your property taxes. Make sure that this part here always has a stamp. Always has a stamp. Whoever stamps it should be signing it. They should put their title and they should put the date. Just keep in mind. This form is very important. Do you see these two boxes here? They're going to put numbers in there. Those numbers are the numbers of your property taxes. That's what they're verifying. So when you fill out your application, pay close attention to what they put in there, because those are the numbers that you should be putting on your application. Don't put any other numbers. Don't make up any other numbers. Don't say, nope, I think they're wrong, because they stamped and they certified that that's correct. Those are the numbers you use. You don't have to try to remember it. It explains it right here. Homeowners, enter the amount on line 14 of your PTR1. It's telling you exactly where on your application you should put that number. So just keep that in mind. Use the same numbers that the property tax collector or whoever stamped and verified. Everybody got it? Okay. Yes, sir.
Do you have to cancel checks in addition to the number that they put in these two boxes?
No. If you're doing this form, that's all you need. That's all you need. But if you don't want to use that form, you got to get all of that stuff together. Right. So you see what I'm saying? It could be a hassle to get all of that stuff together. Yeah. Proof of age or disability. So this is either or. You know, birth certificate or driver's license or church record. So I guess a baptismal record, or you don't have to send in all of those. But if you're disabled, you're going to have to send in the Social Security Disability Award letter. So the first three are the proof of age, and the last one is just for a proof of disability.
So that's all three?
Nope.
That's a copy.
Copy of birth certificate or driver's license or church record. So what if you forget to file? This happens a lot. Some people aren't aware of the program, they tell us. So they say, hey, I've been eligible since 2010. That's okay. But you know what they have to do? They have to fill out all the PTR ones. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. They don't get any money though. They don't get any money. And they have to do what everybody else has to do. They have to get the property taxes verified. They have to fill out the forms. So you can do that. But just keep in mind, if you run into that situation, you will not get a reimbursement check. But what you will be able to do, provided that you're eligible, is establish a base year for that 2010 year, let's say. So let's think about property taxes in 2010 compared to property taxes in 2017. So it is a greater reimbursement that you get, right? But think about all of these applications you have to fill out. Think about all the verification forms that have to be stamped and done. And I don't know if the tax collector is going to be too happy about that.
Procedure initial year, let's say, let's go back to 2010.
No, see, there's basically no deadline for that, but you've missed the deadlines for all of them, so that's why you don't get the money, basically, right? Because if you miss a deadline, you don't get it. You're not eligible. So you do not get the money.
I'm getting a little confused about how many things you have to add to this particular base form. I mean, the PTR1 is this one, the staple, the driver's license, where all those required documents listed that you've got to include with it.
This is your instruction book. Everything I'm talking about is in this book. So you just make a copy of your driver's license. Put it in along with the application. That's all. You fill out the application. So let's start this way.
One question, how long has this thing been in effect? How far do you go back?
Oh, you go back as far as the program has been in effect. I don't know.
As long as you're there at 65. 65.
Right. So yeah, if you've been eligible, you have that situation.
Yes.
Definitely. We can get you the application. You fill out the application, you get your taxes verified, you send in anything else that you need to send in. They will look at them all. They will adjust your base year. So you can get your base year as the lower taxes for the year that you first became eligible. So I want to back up a little bit. So this is my first year filing, for example. I want the state of New Jersey to know that I'm 65 or older or that I'm disabled. The first thing I'm going to do, if I'm 65 or older, make a copy of my driver's license or a copy of my birth certificate or a copy of maybe my baptismal record, because baptismal records show your age. If I'm disabled, I am going to make a copy of my Social Security Disability Award letter. I am going to go to the middle of the book. I'm going to fill out this red and white application. I am not married. It's the story of my life. But I will fill this out with my information. I will check everything that is appropriate for me. This is the first page of it, right? Then I am going to do the back part, where it's the income category. I'm going to fill in all the income categories for both years, 16 and 17. I am going to total it up. Hopefully, I am not over any of these numbers, because if I am not eligible. Right now, I am not. I can keep on going, and I don't make this much. Keep in mind, if you go over, you can stop. If you still want to file, you can do so, but what are you going to receive in the mail? Denied. Right. Now, I'm going to fill this in. This is the third page, right? Going to keep on going. Everything that's appropriate for me, we go down here to the property taxes. We already know where those numbers come from. They come from the verification form. The verification form is the page after the application. So when I talk about application, I'm talking about the red and white pages. When I'm talking about the verification form, I'm talking about the page past it. There are 2 copies in there just in case you mess up. You do not have to fill both of them out. Verification form is past the application. It's black and white. It says on the top, homeowner's verification of 2016 and 2017. Part 1, to be completed by the applicant, which is the taxpayer. Part 2, completed by the tax collector or whoever is in charge of filling out the form. So I'm done, right? I'm going to tear the application out, the red and white page. I'm going to get my verification form from whoever. I'm going to get the copy of my birth certificate or my driver's license or my baptismal record, or if I'm disabled, the copy of my Social Security Disability Award letter, and I am going to mail all of that in to the state of New Jersey with this. With the stamp on it. No, you gotta have a stamp on it, right? Is that good? Did I break it down? Did I do a good job? Good. Good. Yes, absolutely.
If you're filing several letters, you suggest that we should set it on?
So she asked if you're filing back years. Should but in one envelope, right? So separate, 2010, 11, 12, and then put them in a big envelope. Okay, because the person that gets them hopefully can satisfy everything for you just like that. But don't, let's try to keep them together. Yes.
So if in 2018 you turn 65, right? Then you are filling out this form, but you're putting in information from 2016 and 17. Okay, so you don't, if you turn 65 in 2018, you don't start filing until 2020.
Because you have to be eligible by December 31st of the year that you need to be eligible. And keep in mind, you need 2 years. So right now, we're talking about 2016 and 2017. You have to be eligible in 2016 by December 31st.
Okay, so if you turn 65 in 2018, when is the first year that you can file?
We're going to be doing when do you turn 65?
This I'm talking about my husband here, so he just turned 65 in 2018.
So next year. So it's next year that he can file. Now, if are you 65 or?
Why would it be next year?
What is 2016? What is he? He's 60, he just turned 65.
You have to be
65 by December 31st of the following year. So it's a following. Yeah.
2020.
2020. Yeah.
2020.
Yeah, because we're going to go back a year and then the year. Yeah.
Right, so it's 2 years after you turn 65 that you start.
Because we need that prior year. So you have to be eligible for that prior year and eligible for the current year. It's 2020. Guys are done.
A question that we often receive from our seniors is, I sold my house and now I'm living, the following year I am living in a rental unit, still in Maplewood. Am I eligible to use the program for taxes I paid the preceding 2 years? If otherwise everything else applies, I'm 65, I've lived here for 10 years, etc., etc.
Yeah, it's for the previous years that you were eligible, you should have already received the reimbursement.
Let's say you never applied.
No, you have to own and live in your home.
Right, at the time of application.
Right.
Does everybody understand that?
Yes.
We get that question a lot.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Budgetary approval, once again, the budget isn't approved until July. Even though we work for the state, there isn't much time that we get a heads up, I think, what is it called, the Asbury Press or something? For some reason, they seem to know everything just like that. I don't know if they had bugs in the state house, I shouldn't say that. But they know everything. And I'm telling you, when I was in the call center, people would call me and tell me things. And I knew it would be true, so I would put them on hold and I would just spread the word to everybody else that, hey guys, this is what's going down. And sure enough, if we would go on the Asbury Press, they would already have an article up about it and it would be factual. So just keep in mind that I believe that is something that is very useful to Asbury. Listen, I don't know how they do it. It doesn't seem like we get the heads up, and you would think that we would because we administer these programs, but we just don't. So just keep in mind about the budget. And the only thing that would probably really affect you with the budget is if the property tax reimbursement programs are going to stay in effect or if they change the income. And I'm really going to look out next year because, there's somebody new in office. I just want to see what's going to happen to the programs. Somebody have a question?
I'm fine. And we're way below the $70,000 and we're not.
I mean, just with that information, I wouldn't be able to help.
We made a phone call.
Yes.
And we're sort of brushed off. I don't, what's the process for
center. Just with that information, I'm not sure what's going on with your account. It's worth a look into. Maybe there's a form or something that you didn't send in, which could be something real simple we can get rectified. But just with that information, I don't know. And she said, what's the process? So all processes are different because it all depends on what's missing or what the issue is. So there isn't like a standard process. What you can do is keep in mind this number. When you see Taxation University, that is the unit that I work in. So I do work for the Division of Taxation, but the unit is Taxation University. Our phone number is 609-633-6015. So you guys will probably make it home before we make it back to the office. If you have a question, call, because their co-workers there who can answer the phone, they can look into your account. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, when you call, yes, you have to give them your social security number. Some people call, they don't want to give the social security number. We can't access the account without it. So I'm just going to let you know that that is our number. If you call, that's the only reason we go into your account is that you call. And we are not allowed to go into anyone's account without permission. Actually, it's an offense and we can get fired. So I want to let you know that it's okay. If you call me, I take your social security number. Most of the time I don't write it down. I plug it right into our system, so it's not written down anywhere. But if we do have to write social security numbers down, we throw them away the way they're supposed to be thrown away. So I want you to know that your identity is safe with us. So just keep that in mind. It's 609-633-6015. We're open Monday through Friday from 8 to 5. I work from 8 to 4, 8:30 to 4 though. But if you want to talk to me, everybody calls me Mo. So if you don't remember Monisha, everybody calls me Mo. I'm here with Miss Gail. Tyler's out there. And Yas does work with us, but he works on a different floor. So, I mean, between myself, Ms. Gail, and Tyler, and we have about 10 other colleagues there, they'll be more than willing to answer your questions. I definitely think you should give us a call, and we should be able to look into your account and